What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Haze Demon Show. And today we are going to be going over the latest and greatest tier list video for South Park Phone Destroyer. And that is going to be the epic cards, the top 12 epic cards. Can you dig it? Plus some honorable mentions as well. This time it's only going to be 4 honorable mentions. Hoorah. It wasn't too hard for me to make this particular list. The rare cards seemed a little bit harder. There was some choices that got cut from this list that probably could have been on here, but I feel like the choices I made were great enough. Remember that I have played this game for over 2 years, and I have played in the top 200 for the majority of that time. I also am main sci-fi fantasy for the entire time, and also I look at the cards based on how well they do, mostly on their own, without having to depend on other cards to do its job correctly. Also, usually looking at these cards at like a level 4 legendary, level 5 epics, level 6 rares, level 7 commons, something like that. Obviously these are all epics, so we're looking at them like they're level 5 epics. That's what I should be saying. I'm thinking of the other tier lists. We're done with those tier lists. Get them out of here. Alrighty, so anything else we needed to cover here? Also, yeah, buddy, let's go. I think we got it. Make sure to check out my other tier list videos I've done on the commons and rares and every single theme in the game, as well as some like future of South Park Phone Destroyer, the potential of the game and stuff. So make sure to check out those videos if you have not already, and like and subscribe to the channel. Oh my goobers, I never say that at the beginning of a video, but you know what? We're here and we're ready to go. Alrighty, so we got for number 12, it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be Bounty Hunter Kyle with his ability, a 3-cost ranged unit with 344 health and 74 attack. He has the ability to be flying and gives attack boost to all allies when he hits an enemy. Heals all allies when he kills an enemy, which is a... Let's talk about this last thing he's got there. When he kills an enemy, he does a really low amount of health. However, it is possible for him to get some kills and heal your teammates. It's really funny when he does, because it can make a big difference when a unit was about to just die to the zapper. Instead, now it is defeating you. Oh my goobers. This guy, he can be a little underrated in my opinion, as in I don't really play him a lot, but I definitely know his strength relies in just chilling on the battlefield, getting ignored some way or another, or being able to be protected, and him just boosting up random units on your field. But in particular, if he's able to boost up a ranged unit, there's a really good chance that he can get a ranged unit to be over 100 attack, basically giving Bounty Hunter Kyle the same power as a legendary Master Ninja buff. Albeit but the better thing about it is that he can continue to keep boosting up units even after he spawns. So he has the potential to do way more than Master Ninja, but he's quite frail, doesn't do a lot of damage, but his impact on the battlefield is quite strong indeed. Let's move on. Number 11, it's gonna be Professor Chaos with 252 health, 267 whopping attack, and 173 burst damage for his ability, which is that he's immune to mind control. This is kind of like whatever about that. It can help, it cannot hurt. I don't know. It's just a whatever thing. Warcry deals 173 damage to enemies in front and stuns them for 2 seconds. 2 seconds is a pretty good amount of time. The stun length is quite long, the cone that he can do it in, so it's actually pretty strong. And then he's got solid stats to back it up. This guy is definitely a beast. Not one of my favorite assassins to play generally, because I'm just not a big fan of 3-cost assassins, but It's a really good combo ability. 2 seconds is plenty of time for you to combo using another freeze or stun of any kind to go with him, along with if units just need a little bit of damage to finish them off, Professor Chaos can do that. Like gnomes, he can, not gnomes, yeah, gnomes and rats, he can just use his ability and kill them instantly, so no downtime having to swing at them. It's pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Alrighty, number 11, that's good. No, number 10 is gonna be Mr. Slave, a 5-cost tank unit for the fantasy theme. He has 63 attack, which is not much, and 1,766 health, with a whopping 176 heal at level 5, max level 5. So, what makes him really powerful in general is the fact that he can just not die, right? Let's read the ability. It says, Enraged, heals for 160, 76 health every time HP goes below half. Death Wish spawns 3 cocks. So first of all, there's a lot of cards in this game that don't do 176 damage. So that means that they could never break Mr. Slave's barrier. It really comes to where high level legendaries give your opponent, give the player more options to defeat Mr. Slave. So in a really high competitive ranked gameplay, Mr. Slave is going to be absolute dog doo-doo because there's too many cards that can defeat his heal. However, as you start to see normal, legendary, and lower, there's a lot more possibilities for cards that cannot break that barrier, or they do not have like a Dragon Slayer Red or something like that. So there's a really good possibility Mr. Slave can get a humongous amount of energy value by killing or damaging multiple units before he can even get his health broken down past the halfway point. He can definitely snowball in the right situations where maybe they did put out their unit that was going to stop Mr. Slave, but you killed it just in time before it could break the barrier, and now they don't have an answer to him. And that's not, one thing to mention also is, I wish that he had the giant axe as his weapon, but 63 attack doesn't really match up with a giant axe. So he does have a big giant black dildo he uses to fight with. It's quite glorious indeed. And then the chickens that spawn after him, they can go pretty good with, you know, other swarm units. If you're running chickens, like Amazingly Randy or whatever, they can spawn with them. And then now you've got 5 chickens on the field. It's pretty good. It's nice to have an ability, a Death Wish, that moves rather than just blowing up around it or whatever. I don't know. We're talking about Officer Barbrady. But anyway, let's go on. We've got number 9, and that is gonna be Santa Claus is coming to town with 5 energy. It's a neutral tank with 117 attack and 2290 whopping health. He has a lot of health, a lot of attack for a tank. His charged ability, fully charge up the power of allies with the spirit of Christmas. Santa Claus's main purpose is to support Stand Many Moons, so that's where his true power lies in. However, his presents are not limited to the one particular character, so I feel like Santa Claus is actually a pretty good character. He's got good health, he has twice as much attack as like Osimo. Well, maybe not twice as much as Osimo, but more attack than Osimo. It's almost twice as much attack as Mr. Slave. And his presence can go to any charged ability. Stand of Many Moons, Shield Made of Windy, Witch Doctor Token, Amazingly Randy, Catapult Timmy. You name it, you got it. It's just giving everybody boosts. And being able to use your abilities multiple times can really make a difference in a battle, 100%. So having good stats and having a good ability makes him a pretty top tier card. Generally, though, he's only played with Stand of Many Moons. But he can be played with anything, honestly. It's not that bad. Up next, we're going to have the number 8 card, and it's going to be Big Mesquite Murphy, the 5-cost tank unit in the adventure theme. with 68 attack and a whopping 2454 health. His attacks stun kids for 1.3 seconds, and he has a charged ability to run to the closest enemy kid. This card is totally underrated right now. I don't see a lot of people playing him, although maybe not a lot of people have him at level 4, so that's possible. But this card is very strong. It has a lot of good possibilities with it. The biggest one being is its power duration of freezing kids. So maybe his effect doesn't hit all units in the game, and there's where his balance is. However, so many of the kids are vital to success in winning matches, and being able to stun those units, which is literally almost instantaneously stunning. Like, it's 1.3 second stun. It maybe takes him 1.5 seconds for him to do an attack. So they have about a 0.2 second time where they can move to do an animation. So by the time Big Mesquite Murphy hits them like 2 or 3 times even, they may have only hit him 1 time. So his survivability is out the yin-yang. And then, if there's no units on the field or no kids on the field, he will directly target the new kid with his charged ability. The thing is, he doesn't do a lot of damage, so you have to know when is the right time. But either way, it doesn't matter, because your opponent has to assume you're gonna do it or not. Or, I mean, otherwise they're going to take the free damage, right? So they'll assume you're going to do it. They'll put a unit on the field to stop you from being able to hit their new kid. And guess what? Now they're coming to your side of the field. Now you can control the match, blah, 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 blah. Because they had to play the unit way earlier than they wanted to. Meaning that the energy field is going to be more on... The energy advantage is going to be on your side, potentially, more likely, what I'm saying here. A lot of ways that you can combo with this card. He's basically like a headhunter because of that ability. And again, the freezing is just absolutely ridiculous. Survivability for sure, 100%. Dude, really good card. Can't wait to have it at level 4. Or even level 5. I don't have it at level 4, but we're talking about it at level 5 is even better, right? So, next card. It's gonna be our number 7 card. Aerostorm. Oh my goodness, 351 whopping damage across the entire board. This is your magical cleanup eraser. You can just say, oh, all these units or all these swarm cards are low health, bye bye, choo! You just wipe the board clean. It will definitely prevent people from being able to make pushes on you, depending on the type of units, of course. However, you just mix up your cards and whatnot, and you'll have a good chance of defending. What am I talking about? We're talking about Aerostorm, the 4-cost spell card for Adventure. Not much to say about this card, to be honest. You just have to know when to hold them and know when to drop it like it's hot, that Aerostorm. It can be very ferocious. There's a lot of swarm, low-cost units out there nowadays, so it can definitely do its job there. Comboing with other types of attacks as well. You can like stand many moons and Aerostorm at the same time, boom, wipe the whole board. Almost guaranteed. Again, not a whole lot to say here, but definitely a very strong card. Our next card is going to be our number 6. It's Rogue Token. Oh yeah, very similar in idea to Aerostorm. However, it does slightly less damage. We can see here 347. Let's start from the beginning here. 4-cost fighter card for the fantasy theme. Has 159 whopping attack and 665 health. His war cry is that he deals damage to nearby enemies. He has a circle that's about the size of Fireball, maybe a little bit bigger. Not sure if you know that comparison or not. I don't know what to say to you. I don't know what to tell you. But the power range is 2.5. That's the best way to explain it, right? So, not as good as Aerostorm in that he can't hit the entire field. However, most of the time your opponent's units are going to be kind of clumped together. Not always, right? But when they're clumped together, it's going to be Rogue Token's job to be able to take them down. And with a solid 347 damage plus the body on the field, he can be very hard to deal with unless I mean, you can predict where they're going to use Rogue Token if they've already used him one time during the match. So you can predict in Lightning Bolt or Unholy Combustion or whatever. But a lot of the time, he's just going to get his ability off, clean it up, make a solid defense, and push towards your opponent with a body on the field. And that's the biggest reason that he is higher on the list than Aerostorm is. He basically can do Aerostorm's body, albeit smaller area, and you put a body onto the field, which can be a problem for your opponent. And that's why I put him up higher. Yeah, buddy! Ooh-wee! And defensive units are very good in this game. That's right. So, our next card is going to be the number 5. It's Amazingly Randy! Yay! The 4-cost ranged unit for fantasy theme with the charged ability summons 2 magic cocks from thin air. He has 149 attack, 551 health. It doesn't say it, and I don't know why this game doesn't say these things. These stats are important. You would think they'd put it on here. Like the speed that they walk and the range of a ranged unit. Oh, it does say the ranged unit. Don't listen to me, chat. Don't listen to me. There's other things I was thinking of. Anyway, he's got range. The walking. He walks a little bit faster than Catapult Timmy, but he's still got a decent walking speed. It's not too bad. It's not too fast. Anyway, his power to be able to spawn chickens gives him a survivability because they can target the chickens instead of him, giving him time to finish off the other units or to target the other unit first. Of course, spawning swarm units added into other swarms. It's too good. He has a good amount of health and a good amount of attack. I feel very strong about Amazingly Randy, but not a whole lot to say here. There's, not a lot to just combo with more chickens or more swarms and you're good to go. I definitely think he's a very strong card. And next we have on the list is going to be number 4. Transmogrification. This is not a 5, not a level 5 Transmogrification, but it's a 5-cost spell card for the fantasy theme. Transforms target enemy into a worthless rat. That's it. That's all it does. It turns a unit into a rat. It has the ability to turn a man-bear pig into the rat. It is fast enough that it can turn Pope Timmy into a rat before he can use his war cry. So that means it can cancel out Pope Timmy from spawning a unit. Very strong. However, the problem with Transmogrify is 1, it doesn't do damage, so you can't chip your opponent while getting rid of their units. It still turns their unit into a rat, which could, most of the time it's not going to do anything. A lot of the time it's not going to do anything. But if you turn a level 7 something unit into a level 4, let's say level 5, it'll be a level 3 rat. I guess really still that's nothing. It can still do a little bit of damage if it's being ignored, let's just say that. But it's just a little bit of rat. It's a little rat, you know what I'm saying? And the other reason, again, I said chip damage rate, but its benefit is that it denies death wishes, which is not really an issue nowadays. I mean, you can deny Mr. Slave his 3 extra chickens. The biggest unit, I think, to deny its ability right now is Sorceress Leanne, to prevent her from being able to turn units into chickens. So, like, that's probably Transmogrification's strongest point right now. It's not fast enough to get Alien Queen Red, and it's not fast enough to get Dragon Slayer Red, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure you can get Ink and Craig. No, I don't think it's fast enough for Ink and Craig either. But it is fast enough for Pope Timmy, and it's not fast enough for Satan. Actually, so it might be fast enough for Ink and Craig, but I know for sure it's not fast enough for Satan, and it's not fast enough for, actually, I think it's fast enough for Rogue Token too. So it's kind of like a half and half on the ability to stop war cries. But Satan, Ink and Craig, again, I'm not sure about that one, but Satan, Ink and Craig, and Alien Queen Red, you're not fast enough to get rid of them with Transmogrify, and that's a big difference. Unholy Combustion being able to hit them before they even spawn, practically. But still a very good card. You can hit key cards on the field, Stand Many Moons, Santa Claus, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can get rid of key cards on the field, and that's what makes this card very strong. That's the most important thing, is just being able to spot remove cards wherever need to be. So, our number three epic card in the game, it's gonna be Pope Timmy. Oh my goobers. Some of you may have thought he was number 1. You were lied to. He's a 6 energy ranged unit for the mystical theme. His war cry is he revives a played allied character card that died most recently. It has 174 whopping attack and 655 health with a banging 5 range. This dude is a monster. They've nerfed him a couple times and he's still extremely good. The fact that you bring back a card is pure value. Pure value. It can be a man bear pig, it could be a call girl, it could be Hermes Kinney. It doesn't matter. Or even Dougie. How about that as another choice? Either way, he's bringing back cards. It can be a little tricky on making sure you're bringing back the correct character, but you just have to watch the death animations. It has nothing to do with what character died last. It has to do with what character disappeared off of your screen. So 2 characters can die at the same time, but one has a slower death animation. That is the one that's going to end up spawning, unless you timed it perfectly that you use Pope Timmy as one disappeared before the other one disappeared, which I have done before, milliseconds between each other, like within a quarter of a second of each other, some crazy shiza like that, and it would work, but it's not a good idea because it's gambling. This game's all about gambling anyway, but that's not what we're here to talk about. The energy values is crazy. He rolls his card really, really slow, so that means that whoever he spawns could create a combat situation that he has nothing to do with whatsoever, forcing the fight to be on your side of the field. The long range also adding into him being slower. His attacks being very strong, 174, although he doesn't attack very quickly. Not a big deal. He still does a truckload of damage as long as he's just slinging Pope tampons, I don't know what they are, at people. It's freaking brutal. So Pope Timmy, extremely powerful, will always be really powerful, ever since they buffed up from like 7 cost energy to 6 cost energy. Hard to make him more balanced than he already is, because he's not like oppressive as like he used to be, and it's easy for people to be able to counter Pope Timmy by knowing when he's gonna spawn. But you can't. There's a lot of ways to work around somebody trying to counter your Pope Timmy, so a lot of tricks of the trade, but generally just pure energy value you can get from this card. And his slowness and range increases survivability. So very, very powerful indeed. Our number 2 card that's coming at you is gonna be Sorceress Leanne. Oh my goodness. This 5 cost fighter unit for the fantasy theme. She has 174 attack with a whopping 1638 health. Her Death Wish randomly transforms 7 enemies and 7 allies in range into cocks. Oh my goodness, is this a game changer? This card is a game changer for sure. Because if you just say, well, it's not that bad, I can just transmorgify her. Well, right there, that is a huge reason to give her a big giant thumbs up the butt. Because if you're going to transmorgify her, that means Grand Wizard Cartman, which is 1 cost more, Stand Mini Moons, Mecha Timmy, whatever you got, Man Bear Pig, they're going to be able to walk onto the field with no problem at all. So if you think your answer to beating her is to transmorgify Unholy Combust, then you don't realize the power that she has to draw that spells towards her and leave your other powerful cards able to play. But besides that, even though it's obviously random who's going to get turned into chickens, the chances are 7 enemies. It's never going to be more than 7 enemies, and never going to be more than 7 allies. And then you can also put rats into your Sorceress Leanne. Your opponent can do the same thing, of course. But you can put swarm units into her as she's dying and turn them into chickens to go along with you and whatnot. And she can just counter massive amounts of energy. There can be 5, you know, like a whole field, not a field, but like a solid push of units, and she's just going to stop them and turn them all into chickens. Your opponent can't play cards to get rid of her faster, because then they just get turned into chickens too. So it forces your opponent to not really know what cards to kill her with, because all you're doing is you're going to sacrifice whatever units you use to kill her, more than likely. You can use ranged units, but there's a possibility those ranged units roll right into her Death Wish area also. So it's a lot of trickiness for your opponent and for yourself, but when this card goes off, it goes off with a bang. A lot of the time you'll end up with more draws, but in the end you're going to win more matches because of that, because you're not losing. Big difference there. Alrighty, so we are now going to talk about our honorable mentions. These are cards that just barely couldn't make the cut onto the top 12, but deserved a spot on the list for one particular reason or another. Let's check out what we got here. It's going to be Hookhand Clyde, a 3-cost fighter unit for the adventure theme with 147 attack and 679 health, with a war cry that damages a random enemy, 76 if it hits the enemy leader. I've seen him take candy bars from his opponents by hitting the new kid. I've seen him killing Mecha Timmys, Stand Mini Moons, you name it, he does it. He will be able to do it. It's random though. That's why he didn't make it on the list. 764 damage is insane. It kills so many good units out there that are, if they're not a high enough legendary level or whatever. And then he's got pretty solid attack and health to go along with it. So even if he misses his ability, he's still going to do a pretty good damage. But they don't call him Hook Hand Clutch for nothing. You literally can win and lose games based on where his parrot is going to hit. Again, and also can add into a chip damage deck by just forcing damage onto your opponent's new kid, or forcing them to play a card to take the damage, and it's still a 50-50 chance, or whatever. It's still a chance. Again, too much gamble in this card to make it into the top 12, but absolutely a beautiful card, and well deserved to be in majority of adventure decks. Next we have here Imp Tweak. Oh my goobers. 4-cost fighter on the mystical theme with 117 attack and 522 health. He's a flying unit with a war cry. Swap places with one random enemy. He's had a huge amount of bugs and glitches and problems with him. Maybe not all of them are fixed, but there's a lot of them that are fixed. And this card is quite interesting because if you are more towards the middle of a match and you just defended against your opponent, the chances are that your opponent is going to want to build up a defense from your push, your counter push, right? And usually they're going to set up a ranged unit first to build up their charge unit, charge ability, or whatever. Imp Tweak is going to grab that ranged unit or whatever from the back row and pull it right over to your units and destroy them. And meanwhile, while you're killing their innocent unit that got put out in the middle of the battlefield, Imp Tweak is causing problems because he can directly start attacking the new kid. Being a flying unit means that he's only going to be able to be dealt with a few ground units, but mainly another flying unit, spell card, or ranged unit. So if they've already used their ranged units or they don't have a lot of them, they're not going to be able to do anything against Imp Tweak either. So he doesn't have like the best stats ever. They're pretty okay, but being a flying unit and having this special ability that nobody in the game has makes him quite a unique and fun card to play. And a very interesting strategy to win games with. You can also easily lose games with him by warping the wrong unit to your side of the field. But he's a lot of fun, and once you learn how to play the tricks with him, he can be quite a powerful card in defeating your opponents here. Next is going to be Pocahontas Randy, who was in the top 12 and got bumped out because of Bounty Hunter Kyle, pretty much. You guys know him well, maybe. 5-cost fighter unit for the adventure theme, with 200 attack, holy moly, and 1309 health. He has a charged ability, calls an Indian kid to battle. He has lightning fast slapping attacks, so for 200 damage and can attack quickly, he can have a huge amount of DPS just wiping the board of assassins and low-cost units, or even if he's got the time to gnaw down on a tank unit with no problem whatsoever. The reason why he didn't make the list is he's a 5-cost unit. If he was 4-cost, he would definitely be on the list. But at 5-cost, and just only really ability is attacking units. These spawn Indians is okay. They're kind of tanky. They're not bad on the tanky department. They don't have a huge amount of health, but they definitely can cover people while they, just taking damage for them. Tanking damage, I guess, is the best way to put it, but they're fighters. I just think that maybe he doesn't have enough health. When I have a 5-cost unit, I want it to have a lot of health, and it doesn't really matter to me how much damage they do, because their main purpose to me, whether they're a fighter or a tank or whatever, they need to be able to take hits. And Pocahontas Randy has no survivability whatsoever other than pure offense. The best defense is a good offense. That's pretty much Pocahontas Randy's strategy. I'm not a big fan of him, but I do know that he can be very powerful. For sure. And here we got Cyborg Kenny, the 4-cost assassin for the sci-fi theme. His death wish is that he heals 174 to the killer of Cyborg Kenny, and then controls them for 10 seconds. He has 261 attack and 261 health, and the power duration of 10 seconds, right? The reason why I didn't make this list is because he is really easy to counter. There's a lot of different ways to counter. However, you can catch your opponents off guard, and Cyborg Kenny can literally turn your opponent's strategy against them in so many different ways. And if you do have him at a higher level, then it is possible for him to be able to take a bar before he gets killed by the zapper, which would force your opponent to have to use something to kill him, so it can draw in some spells, or they get killed by, or he gets killed by a unit, and then the unit turns around and starts attacking the new kid, which they have to spawn another unit to protect themselves. So more energy, more energy, more energy. It's possible for to make your opponent misplay. That's what Cyborg Kenny's all about, is making your opponent misplay. I feel like he's too risky, that I don't like playing him that often. And not only that, I don't like playing him at level 5, which is what we're showing here. I prefer to play him at a low level, which currently is level 3 minimum. The reason why is so that if they have a Cyborg Kenny, it's more likely to kill my Cyborg Kenny, and also it's faster, so that only one attack from whoever I'm trying to mind control will kill him, but just enough health that the zapper isn't going to kill Cyborg Kenny. Now, obviously, it's still possible for Cyborg Kenny to kill by the zapper, but that one hit from any unit is all it takes that instantly turn the fight around on your opponent. So, definitely quite some shenanigans. I guess he's along the lines of M-Tweak, where, oh, and Hook Hand Clyde, where it's kind of random what's going to happen. You don't quite know. You kind of let somebody else take a hold of the wheel there. Alrighty. So, we are on the final card, the number 1 epic card in the game, and by now I bet some of you have already guessed it. Indeed, it is gonna be Cock Magic. Oh my goobers, oh my goobers, the Cock Magic, my dudes. It is beautiful. The 5-cost spell card from the fantasy theme transforms 5 allies and or enemies into angry cocks. Once your opponent knows that you are playing this card, they have to completely change the way that they are playing the match, and then if you've got other units that can play along that way, then they have no way to really attack you. This card literally destroys the worlds of people with high cost decks that would otherwise obliterate you. They literally would build up this push, and then you would have no way of being able to defeat all these really tanky units or high cost health units, whatever it is. But this card right here says, nope, if you have 12 energy on the field and you have the advantage and they use cock magic, guess what? You're back to being even on the field, because those chickens aren't going to do a lot. Now they can do some chip damage, so you want to sometimes have at least a 2-cost unit to kill the chickens that cock magic spawns. Not really anything higher. 2 cost is the biggest thing that you really want to put in there. If there's only 2 chickens on the field because they had some high cost units, then just let the zapper kill them. It depends on whatever, you know. But this card literally destroys worlds. You might not be able to win matches with cock magic, but you will not lose matches with cock magic. And that's the big difference. That's what makes it as powerful as it is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goobers. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Now, I thought about putting Sorceress Leanne at number 1, but with her being a walking cock magic, it's a little bit more unreliable, so I decided that she wouldn't be number 1. Alrighty, everybody, this is going to be the final list here for us. We got that number 12, Bounty Hunter Cow. Number 11, Professor Cass. Number 10, Mr. Slave Executioner. Number 9, Santa Claus. Number 8, Big Mesquite Murphy. Number 7, Aerostorm. Number 6, Amazingly Randy. I can't count, can I? Number 5, Rogue Token. Number 4, Transmorgify. Number 3, Pope Timmy. Number 2, Sorceress Leanne. And number 1, it's gonna be that cock magic, with our honorable mentions again being Hookhand Clyde, Pocahontas Randy, Imp Tweak, and Cyborg Kenny. Let me know what you guys think of our amazing tier list for the epic cards. And also, shout outs to Towley. Don't forget to bring a towel! He's an epic card too, but he's not on the list. And he didn't even make it in the... Oh no, he didn't make it in the honorable mentions! Oh well. Alright guys, hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to bring a towel. Don't forget to join the Haze Demon Show Discord. And I will see you guys later on the flippity floppity. Peace out. And don't forget to let me know what you think about the tier list.
Young people from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Join the Towel Nation and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship.